Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So we are now entering Lesson 7, the last Project Mercury lesson. This is the sequencer, retrograde burn, and landing. The sequencer, aka the P programmer, I'm thinking that's what it should be, but maybe it's supposed to be programmer and they have an extra P in there, is what controls what stage, phase of the mission you are in, from launch to reentry and landing. In this lesson, we will learn how it works. We will then use it to perform a retrograde burn with a splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean. All right, so we are in orbit. Kind of stuff overlapping here. So from a design standpoint, I'd probably let landing go up there if they can, so that it's not overlapping program Mercury. But we're going to be in orbit, and I assume, as we've had with other lessons in orbit, although no, we'll probably be further along, I would hope, than just blowing off the capsule, because otherwise we're probably nowhere near where we need to be to land. Because if I remember, it takes about 90 minutes for an orbit. Well, it is just blowing off there. But maybe we'll just drop very quickly into the ocean, and that'll work. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, because it will tell us that in the lesson, because it's a lesson, right? Welcome to the sequencer retrograde and landing lesson. In this lesson, we will cover the sequence programmer, a system responsible for the event sequencer of the capsule. We will then use the knowledge to execute a retrograde burn with a splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean. First of all, the sequencer handles all automatic events and the ASCS modes by providing power to various electrical systems. So I believe this is the sequencer. The programmer controls the sequence system, the system that controls all the major events and states a mission consists of. It has a simple user interface where a column of indicators displays the current state. The indicator is a list of lights on the left side of the panel. Each light has 3 states: unlit, normal, and pending. Unlit means that the event has not yet happened or isn't relevant anymore. Normal is indicated by a green light and means the event executed normally. Pending is indicated by a red light and means that the event is about to happen, is processing, or has failed. The light will switch to green when completed. Failures will remain red. Let's quickly go through what each indicator represents. Jet tower indicates that the tower is about to be jettisoned. It will illuminate red a few seconds before jettison and turn to green if jettison is okay. Capsule SEP will illuminate red a few seconds before capsule separation from the LV, which is the launch vehicle if I remember correctly. It will turn green if separation is okay. RetroSeek will turn red when the retro sequence has started and green when completed. It is started when the time to retro timer reaches 0. Okay, so this is counting down. So yeah, we have an hour and 20 some minutes. Or the execute button next to the light is pressed. Retrograde is what enables you to fire the retro engines for reentry. The retro sequence will normally start 40 seconds before ignition. The retro delay switch in norm means the retro fire sequence will start 40 seconds after retro seek illumination, or else instantly with inst. Okay. The retro at indicator shows you are in the correct attitude required for automatic retro fire. It will not fire automatically if the capsule is outside the range of retro attitude. This is important as burning the retro engines in the wrong direction may make it impossible to get back to Earth. Red is outside correct attitude. Green is inside correct attitude. The retro attitude switch can be used to bypass the retro attitude requirement. This is useful if there are malfunctions in the gyros, attitude, or ASCS systems. Oh, goodness, I can only imagine. Fire retro will be red 10 seconds before retro engines are fired. The retros can be manually fired by pressing the button next to the light. It will be green when fire retro is completed. On the other side of the panel, the retro warn and tone will indicate that the retros are about to start. Cancel if something is wrong. Okay. 60 seconds after retro fire, the retro engines will be jettisoned. Retro jet will be red 2 seconds before jettison and green if jettison was okay. After retro jettison, place the attitude select switch to reentry so ASCS can position the capsule to the reentry attitude automatically. Do this now to learn how the craft reacts. Always be prepared to help the ASCS with manual attitude control, especially when setting this switch. .05G will illuminate when deceleration is detected. ASCS will set the capsule into a roll for more stable reentry. Drogue can be manually deployed by pressing the button next to the drogue indicator. The programmer will deploy this automatically at an altitude of 21,000 feet. Snorkel will let outside air enter the cabin and set the O2 emergency mode on. A tone and indicator will indicate this. This will automatically open after drogue deploy. Main will deploy the main chutes. You can manually deploy this by using the button next on the indicator. This accounts for the reserve 2 if the main chute fails. Landing bag will illuminate when the landing bag is extended, making the capsule ready for impact and landing. A switch next to the button in auto will deploy it automatically 5 seconds after main chute or instantly at man. Rescue indicates that your rescue equipment is deployed. The switch can be positioned so it is deployed at splashdown automatically or instantly in man. A set of fuses gives you more control. Look at the description of them to learn what they do. For the programmer to be in operation, ensure the fuse is set to 1 or deny. Or 2, or deny. I'm reading the button. Set the attitude back to retro. The ASCS system will automatically maneuver the craft to the retrograde attitude. The next part of this lesson will take you through a retrograde burn, reentry, and splashdown. Alright. The retrograde time shows when the retrograde sequence will start. And the time to retrograde timer below is currently counting down towards it. The handle on the satellite clock can be used to modify the planned retrosequence time. Use time scale to about 30 minutes before retrograde. We now need to reconfigure the capsule. Okay, so I need to use time scale. So 30 minutes. So let's see. We go 5, 6. So man, we are going over Africa. Now we're on the dark side. And I'm not watching my temperature or anything. Alright, so about 30, so we'll go to 10. Get ourselves a little bit closer. Alright. We now need to reconfigure the capsule for the retrograde burn. Open the mission pad checklist entry. Alright, and we want Pro. Okay, what is it? Checklist entry Pro. I see. Alright. So we got that. Run the checklist. Okay. So we want Pro Retro. Alright. So we're going to turn that off. Suit temperature 7. Yeah, that's about where we're at, I think. Cabin temperature 7. What does 7 mean? An inverter temp, I don't know where that is. Right, inverter temp. Where is the inverter temp? I mean, all the temperatures over here. Alright. Alright, so T15. So I guess in theory we get closer. Alright, so we'll go 100 times. Alright, we'll go 5 times. And that will get us close. Alright, so emergency retro sequence. Okay, we'll ask you to configure this. This is to cold soak the cabin. This is because the temperatures follow the next 3 steps. Oh, I see. So I should have... I see. I get it. So we're supposed to go. So that's not good. And the inverter temp. So I don't know that we're going to have enough time. But it's ER15. Alright. I wish I knew that it was going to tell me that. Use timescale, then press Roger. Okay, the checklist will now ensure that needed fusion systems are set up to ignite the retrograde engines. It will also ensure that the retrograde engines can't be jettisoned. Complete the steps and press clear all when the maintain retro altitude manual step is flashing. So emergency retro, fuse, true, null, oh, number 1 rocket, true, number 2 retro, number 3 retro, emergency retro, true. Okay, auto retro jet off. Okay. So auto retro jet off, retro jet fuse. Where's the retro jet fuse? Oh, retro jet fuse false. So I assume that needs to go there. Maintain retro attitude auto or main. Well, I assume. Alright. And set retro checklist. And press clear all. When the maintain retro attitude manual system is flashing. What am I missing? Alright. The next checklist we need to follow is the actual retrograde. Most should be automatic. Run the mission pad checklist entry retro. Alright. Alright. We will now use the time to retrograde timer along with the checklist guidance system to verify that the correct sequence or events happen. 5 minutes before the retrograde sequence starts, the 5 minutes to retrograde light on the satellite clock will illuminate. Okay. So we want to, I guess, go ahead a bit here. So we're down to 8, 7, 6, 5. Alright, so it should illuminate. Okay, press Roger. The next event will be the start of our retro sequence. During retro sequence, you can use the seconds hand of the satellite clock. The outer marks on the clock can be used to time things. Use time scale until retro sequence starts. Okay, it's 0. Okay, so 20 seconds. Alright, so we're going to do that. It is hard to see otherwise, I'll tell you that. Alright, so okay, do I have... Alright. I guess we'll see if this works. The retro sequence is starting. Alright. And should be going. Alright, so 20 seconds after this, an audible tone warns you that the retrograde engine is about to fire. Remember that you can silence the alarm if you wish. Alright, so we got that. The retrograde engines will fire 20 seconds after the warning tone. Alright, so there we go. So we're slowing down. The retrograde engines will fire one at a time. Retro engine 1 will immediately fire 5 seconds after number 2 will fire, and then number 3 will fire. Each engine will burn for about 10 seconds. Is it still doing things, or did it stop? I don't understand. Oh, I see. Alright. Ignition. All 3 retro engines will fire one at a time. Use the satellite clock. Again, there's a 5-second delay, each burning for 10. Complete the checklist and skip the last start retro checklist step using the check mark. Alright, so we've got retro warn, fire retro amber while firing. Alright, next we will need to jettison the retrograde engines. We will not want to bring them with us through the atmosphere. Run the re-entry checklist. Okay. This checklist will arm the retro jettison squibs and configure the fuse needed to allow retro jettison. Continue with the checklist until the retrograde engines are jettisoned. Okay, arm, retro, auto retro jet, arm. Auto. Oh, I see. Arm. Okay. Retrojet. Fuse. True. Oh, okay. Alright. And then... Alright, so it did that. Now, after retrojet, attitude select, reentry. 0.05 telelight, green. Alright. So now, it should be, I assume, rotating. There go the engines. Alright. There goes the retrograde engines. Good job. The next part will configure the ACS to maneuver to reentry. Continue with the checklist to position the craft. When the capsule detects an atmospheric drag of 0.05 Gs, the entry begins. At this point, the craft will start to roll and go through the atmosphere. Use a low time scale setting until this is detected. It should happen at about 1 hour 40 minutes on the mission timer. Time scale will automatically stop at this time. Alright, so we kind of want to, like they said, a low one, but so I assume we're like descending, like we still have a high altitude, so alright, 135. Got 136. Alright, coming up on 8. 9. Alright, we'll go here. So I think it's just trying to get us positioned appropriately here. Alright, there's 140. Alright. It's still not green. So we're waiting for the atmospheric drag. There we go. Okay, the capsule is now touching the atmosphere, and entry will begin shortly. Press clear all to complete the checklist. Okay. Next, we are going to hit the atmosphere and the Gs will start to build. Let the capsule fly through the upper atmosphere for a couple of minutes. Alright, let's see. If we go there... Interesting. Alright. Waiting for atmosphere. Okay, because then the next thing is going to be the parachutes. So, I assume that's it getting to the roll. Just not sure if we should be rolling that much. So definitely interesting how this plays out. But we're bringing it down. It's like, does it stop rolling at some point? Or does that help cool things, or what? I'm trying to remember. No, that's the acceleron. Yeah, because that's G's, so we're still theoretically 0 G's. Alright, now it's doing some weird things there. I mean, I haven't touched anything, so I assume it'll do what it needs to do, but it honestly just seems like it's rotating. Because, yeah, rate indicator shows 10-second roll rate. And then we're going to go to the landing checklist. So I guess we'll throw that in there at some point. I mean, it just doesn't seem like we're going down here. Okay, the G's are building fast now. At this point, open the mission landing checklist. We will just reference it in this lesson. Alright, so there we go. Most of the entry is automatic, and your job is to monitor the G load and altitude. The SCS will take you through the atmosphere. Alright. So, G load is getting up there. Wow, that makes a lot of noise, I'll tell you that. Alright, so we're hot, that's for sure. Okay, emergency. The drogue deployment is the question is, can we... Yeah, it won't let us speed up here or anything. We're still rolling. My goodness. Okay, well, we're still... I assume this has to start moving down at some point. Because that's 100,000 feet, and before 30,000 we need the parachute, but... So, timing is definitely going a bit here. Alright, can I... That's under. Alright, that's over, so that's us going down. Okay, G-forces are in theory going down, like we're slowing down. So I think left console, I guess we don't need the C up there, but we are... Oh, there we go. Finally below 100,000. So let's see. Okay, we are through. Let us take a look at the checklist. First thing, it wants to connect emergency drogue deploy. This should already be set and will allow you to deploy the drogue manually. Alright, and that's the emergency drogue. Yeah. So that is true. Alright. So do I want to deploy it manually? Alright, at 21... Oh. Well, I already did it. Because you didn't... After this, the snorkel will automatically open. That will bring fresh air and equalize the pressure. Emergency O2 will also flow and you can silence the alarm. This brings oxygen at high fixed rates through the cabin. Next up is main chutes. Right. Yeah, see, so we're... Like, I really didn't need to do that, because that's just going to take longer. But oh well. Alright, so... Alright. So that's off. Alright, emergency O2. Handle out. Alright, at 10,000 feet. Main light is green. Okay, main shoots at 10. Mains are out at this point. The RCS fuel will automatically dump. I see, and the landing bag will extend the landing bag as a pillow. The fuel warning light, be sure to silence it. Next event is Splashdown into the ocean. So let's, I don't see our... That's the pillow? Alright, at 10,000... Alright. So what do I do? UHF... RT... Press reg handle out. So which one? Alright, landing bag telelight is green, yes. And then after impact. Alright, so we are where? We're at like 9,000 feet. So this just takes a bit. So, you know, is it the greatest graphics in the world? Probably not, but it's good enough. It's cool. We get what we're doing. We're mainly in the capsule. So, yeah, we're not going down too fast. So yeah, a whole mission, I guess. I mean, I suppose, again, because we can accelerate time, won't necessarily take that long. But it's, you know, this part obviously took a good half hour, although, yes, some of it was reading things. But basically, you know, about 2 hours is the whole enchilada here. Alright, so we are at about 4,000. Getting to maybe 3,000 feet. Yeah, we look pretty low here. But after splash, we're gonna do ASCS bus off. Where's the ASCS? Because, yeah, MIP, that's main instrument panel. Oh, okay, so that'll go to off. And then the left panel, the photo light, goes to off. I don't know where that is. Photo, oh, photo lights. Oh, it is off. Alright. We now have impact and splashdown. Reentry using the ASCS together with the sequencer and programmer will make entry mostly an automated sequence. So I don't know if I can see outside. Yeah, I won't. And it won't let me hit Roger. But we're there, we're in the water. So, oh, there we go. So we can go to F1. But there we sit. I can't zoom in and out. But there we are. So we have made it. That's cool. Alright, 211. So now if I go to my career, so yes, at this point I have done that, but then see, we can do Mercury level 2, and then we're doing other things, Mercury exam, doing campaign missions, complete all to unlock elite status, reach Mercury flight director level 20. Goodness, there's all kinds of stuff to do. But yeah, we've basically done the academy. The only thing we obviously have to do is complete the Mercury exam. And I don't know if that will get us to, level 2. But pretty exciting. We've got the academy done. But, the nice thing is, yeah, it gives us, let's see, career, so the spacecraft selections. There you go. 15 of 45. Gemini has 26. Command module 63. It's interesting that we have command module candidate controller. So is it just like, I don't understand what it thinks it completed, because yeah, these are all things like I haven't done, and it's recommended, I do Mercury pilot and all that. And then same thing with the lunar module. So yeah, we definitely want to do these things in order, just like the astronauts did. I mean, they did Mercury, and then they went to Gemini and so forth. So it doesn't make sense to hop around in my mind, but I'm not sure. So we'll start to figure out what else we can do, but we need to do the full exam next time. So that is what we will focus on. As always, if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like, or are not a subscriber, please do that. That helps a small channel like myself. At this point, we've certainly had plenty of episodes and plenty of exposure here to Reentry. I mean, at this point, man, we've spent an hour and 16 minutes in space. Now, I'm sure some of that is accelerated time, but still, we've been up there for a bit. So let me know what you think, and are you enjoying this? Because that also is of curiosity to me. I'm hoping that I'm someone a little unique who's doing this. First off, this is an older thing, and I think there were a lot of things that I found that were like 3 years old or 4 years old. So, but returning to it now as we're getting close to the full version, and hopefully getting some stuff out for people ahead of time. So, but you can see we got campaigns, we got other stuff we can do, missions. So we'll have to see. I mean, there's a lot to explore here, so I'm definitely going to be spending some time in here and just throwing things out there as quickly as I can, because I do think, especially these academy lessons, they're pretty short. So just like maybe the first couple I did, get some of these out in groups or something, and let people view what they want to view. But with that, I will see you next time.